What's up, everybody? We are casting a live game right now of Kasva versus Puppypaw on Highview. Kasva spawning on the southeast side, playing as the French. Puppypaw spawning on the northwest, playing as the Roos. And he is doing the typical opening, and we already saw Kasva had double scout queued up, so he is going with a 3 scout queue up, and look at that. He actually was able to, with the first, I didn't even know you could do that with your town center. That was interesting to see. You can actually queue up your town center and shift click it on all the deer. So he saw that first deer pack. He made his second scout immediately that came out, immediately go kill the deer pack, and now we are seeing a little bit of scout on scout action. We swapped over to Puppypaw's vision because we can see when he wins the fight, the gold pops up in his court. Good micro here back and forth. The deer are obviously one of the main targets that everyone notices on the map, but the wolves are really the high value target. And Puppy has just done a great job stealing out almost every single one of those deers with the 1v1 battle. And now he is going for the wolf. And we just heard double wolf pickup here on the southeast side, east side, I guess. And now Puppy finally gets his own 3rd scout, but he queued it up out of the hunting cabin. So he is going to be a little bit further ahead as far as villager count goes, but the French will slowly catch up with their faster vills, and going to gold now is Kasva. Triple wolf pickup here by Kasva. Again, like I said, those are the high value, high bounty targets, and now double wolf here on the bottom side as well. And Puppy's not paying attention here. He actually gets his wolf here on the east side. Both of them, I believe, get denied. So a really, really good job by Kasva denying a absolute massive amount of bounty on the map. We know that he is able to secure up both of those deer packs on his side. He's able to secure that double wolves, and he is now securing those triple wolves up top that we talked about as well. Scouts are quite low, but definitely worth it. You know, he was just able to secure those further away because he didn't want to risk losing them on the way back to any of the scouts of Puppypaw or anything like that. We see 250 is usually the mark you want to hit as the Roost, and Puppypaw is only at 140 right now. He was, like we've said, Castle was able to deny multiple of the scouts, even the ones that Puppy picked up on the east side. Castle was able to steal over with his other scout while Puppy wasn't paying attention. So Puppy is not in the greatest position here, and this is already a matchup that a lot of people say is French favored. They have a very, very strong eco. They have those royal knights that they're immediately able to get with the School of Cavalry. So that's most likely what we were going to see. Puppy is definitely going to try to go onto the boar most likely because he needs to get to that 250 bounty mark. And the boar, as well as all of these sheep, will allow him to get to the 250, I believe. 7 times 5, 35, 175. It will exactly allow him to get to 250, and that is the big number to hit. He has to delay his wheelbarrow because he is not able to get enough gold, like we mentioned. And even still, more sheep coming in. So great job. And this just shows the investment that Triple Scout can do if you utilize it efficiently. He went double scout right off the bat out of his town center, which a lot of people would think, hey, that's putting you behind. You're not getting your villagers out. You're not getting stuff out. But if you're able to deny this much bounty on the map, if you're able to do this much damage as far as econ denial, and now he is also going to try to counteract this boar push that you will most likely see here in just a few as well. Puppy did end up going, it looks like, with 4 scouts. Nope. Yeah, 4 scouts. Puppy did end up going with 4 scouts, and usually when you have these multiple scouts, you'll end up pressuring gold with these scouts, and that is most likely where Puppy is going to go to pressure. What this will force Kasva to do is he will have to choose between wheelbarrow, choose between making knights, and he might have to be forced out onto horsemen. So that's not really the greatest positioning that he would like to be in. But right now, he is all focusing on just the boar denial. He knows if he can deny the boar, the Puppy is going to be significantly behind in the bounty because the 250 bounty is faster harvesting and the hunting cabins generate more. The faster harvesting is the big key, and we don't even see the 8 go out on the map like you typically see with the Vil pull for the boar. Neither of the boar here, and it might be because he knows that Kasva has some good vision. He is trying to deny the scouting here from Kasva, but there's already going to... Ooh, there's not. School of Cavalry is not finished, so Puppy still has time to do it, and he knows it now. He sees that Kasva is not age 2 yet. There's no Royal Knight in queue, and so he does not have to worry about getting surprised there by actual military units. Only has to worry about these scouts coming in, and a lot of these scouts are low health. There were the couple from the Wolves, a couple from Puppy fighting him one-on-one. And so that is going to be the big thing. And Puppy just immediately builds a wooden fortress, and Kasva decides to aggro the boar, make it attack the vills. So it forces Puppy to do a little micro here with the vill pulls, but a great job there. The key, oh, and he was able to pick up a scout. This is the advantage of 4 scouts, and he's going to be able to pick up another trade. 1-for-1 trade there on the last one. And so a lot of vision that's going to be denied. Kasva went from 3 scouts to 1. Puppy went from 4 to 3. And he was able to secure that the boar, able to secure the 250 bounty now. And not only that, is this gives him a huge positioning on the map, in the middle of the map. Has a ton of control here with this wooden fortress. You see he traded in the gold in the golden gate to get the arrow slits upgrade in the wooden fortress immediately. This is also going to allow him to secure this middle relic, and it also will give him vision of the other side as well. You'll notice here when I go to the map, this wooden fortress will just give him a ton of vision. You can't forget, this is high view. This is a map that has a ton of hidden forest. It's so easy to take advantage of your opponent if they aren't able to see things in that hidden forest. And huge job being proactive here by Puppy. He's got spears already coming out. He decides not to move out with them and waiting for the veteran or the hardened upgrade first. And there, oh, actually, it does have one that he moved out with, but still waiting for the hardened upgrade. He did see the knight now, has good protection here, good vision with the scouts, and has the wooden fortress nice and close. The 8 vills is that perfect amount, and he will be able to scout out this fast tower, but will he be able to deny it? He needs to pull his spearmen there as fast as he possibly can. I don't know if he's going to be able to do so, and you see him now move out onto putting a ton of villagers onto the stone. So he might be going for a second town center, and he decides to pull his 8 vills that were on the boar to try to get this tower denied. He's attacking vills with his vills. He's attacking knights with his knight, and the tower goes up. Oh my gosh. Devastating sight to see for Puppy. The knight's still alive, and it's going to be raining down upon his villagers now. And now, once that tower gets the arrow slit upgrade, it fully denies the boar on the other side as well. Oh, actually, it's going to be able to, it fires, oh, it does not fire in range. It fired on the drop-off, I believe. And now we're seeing it being fixed up here from the side of Kasva. Once the arrow slits come through, that's when it's going to be full denied. And we already see the stone has been fully gathered on Kasva's side, enough for a second town center. Yeah. And we see Puppy has already dropped now his second town center as well. So this is going to be a nice 2 town center play from either side. Boar gets denied though, and vision and the faster food gathering rate of the boar gets denied. And you can't forget that these French villagers come out faster, so 17 seconds a pop. So these 2 TCs are going to be working much faster than the 2 TCs of the Roos. And there was already damage down on Puppy's vills. So he's at 29 economy, 7 military, compared to 31 and 1. So not quite as much of a difference. I guess Kasva did have some vills go down as well, building the tower. But at this point in time, they both have towers now in the middle of the map, providing vision for each other, providing a nice kind of point to see anything coming through that side of the hidden forest on either side. But look at this. Puppy immediately spots out the second TC right as it is being built and finished. He's got a scout there ready to see any of the plays there coming out from Kasva, which is, you know, both of these TCs going out on top of the deer. But Puppies came down first. Let me put... So Puppy was able to catch up a little bit in the vill count there with the second town center coming down first, but now is when Castle will start to replenish his numbers and get ahead of Puppy slowly. If he doesn't have little plays like this where a villager might get picked off here. It's running back here to that second town center. I believe it will be safe and secure there. But Puppy knows exactly where to attack. The second town center is pretty far out. And there we go. We see the archery range drops here from Kasva. He knows he needs to protect it if there's going to be spears coming out on the side of Puppy. Archers are the perfect counter unit for Kasva to put down. More scouts have come out, so, you know, like I said, High View is a high vision map. We also, with that many scouts, would expect to see professional scouts, but we do not. Do we see it out of Puppy? No, we do not. No side has professional scouts. And there we go. First wall now going down for Puppy, trying to get a nice defensive point. Doesn't want to have any night raids coming in, because that's really what's going to do a lot of damage in these matchups, are going to be the night raids coming out from either side. And that's where these pros are so good about reacting and acting on these night raids. So wall going down, Abbey the Trinity going down for Puppy, and we see Kasva is nowhere close to his landmark. He had a lot more on wood. He was building down these production buildings and trying to get military reacting to those spears. But now this is when Puppy is going to start getting his military down, because he's already on the age up. He's going to go ahead and secure all those relics on the map like we talked about. There's basically 4 on his side that he should be able to secure easy. This middle one secured by his tower. This one's nice and close to his base. And this one is right in front of the wall he's building. And the other one on the northeast side. But Kasva's actually got a tower foundation down and is sending a villager out to try to build that. That is a side of the map that Puppy does not have vision on. So a good job by Kasva trying to kind of secure up some of the economy, some of the vision. He wants to know everything going on, know when Puppy kind of tries to move out for some of these other resources. A huge amount of villagers on gold for Kasva, 50 villagers as the economy, and we see 47 for Puppy. So like I said, slowly over time, that French economy is going to build up and be a stronger backstop for the French compared to Rus. But this is where Rus will try to make up for it by grabbing extra relics and being kind of like a force on the map in that way. They also have some additional food bonus or wood bonuses from the wooden fortresses and things of that sort. Scouts here are kind of not in the safest spot. All 3 of these scouts might actually end up getting picked if he reacted. One does go down. First relic over here. Second scout goes down. Third scout goes down. He does end up getting all 3 scouts. Huge vision denial there for Kasva. A ton of damage there, because that is going to be a lot long term. And now the first relic is being secured and brought back in. He's immediately already queuing up another warrior monk coming out. These are actually pretty useful, giving them the inspire bonus when they attack an enemy unit to their whole, though they will inspire their whole army. And now he is getting that's why you're going to see multiple warrior monks queued up. Look at this. Kasva is walling up this west side relic because he knows that's where Kasva is going to next. And he's already did the same thing on the northeast side relic. So really good job being proactive there from Kasva. Puppy has swapped now into the horse archer economy. He is just going to try to skyrocket and get a ton of horse archers out. Luckily, he does have enough spears here. This wall foundation in the west side here should not get finished with his horse archers, and he should be able to burn through the weak side quite easy and still pick up that relic. He will not be excited to see that the northeast one has, or all the way north one has already been walled off on his side. But he has still already, like I said, secured one in, securing the second in right now in just a second. He did not choose to torch the low wall, which is okay. But now he has secured the second relic, bringing that one back in. And there we go. Castle reaches the castle age. He still has a good amount of villagers on stone. I wonder if he's going to try to drop a keep here in a little bit to get some faster, better, cheaper production. We can see the archers he has are not actually control grouped here forward. They're just kind of spawning there right next to the ranges. And he's probably missing 4 archers over there, so he would probably much rather have 10 compared to 6, but he'll probably get those all queued up here and together, grouped up in here in a second. And now we see Middle Sacred Site now being capped as well. The all the way west sacred site will be capped as well. That is secured, safe behind the wall that Puppy built proactively. And third relic now will be in the bank. All the way north relic wall is finally being torched down, so that will be the 4th relic. And the south relic has now been walled in from 1Kasva, but he built a gate on this one because he is planning to secure that one up himself eventually. And he aged up with the Royal Institute. So not something you see much. This is kind of a meme. We saw, I think, the Muslim do it in Golden League. It didn't work out for him. So now 1Kasva decides to do it himself. We'll see if it works out for 1Kasva here. He was able to put some pressure down early, deny that boar, and get Roos off some of those spots that they wanted to be at. But now, how will the game continue to progress here? 1Kasva's doing the little inch up with towers, do some damage with towers here, and get vision through that. Haven't seen many knight raids, which has really been shocking for the French. No knights really coming out. A lot of horse archers and spears there kind of went down there from the archer, crossbow, and outpost mass. So now we do see some more stables being dropped here by Puppy, and this is when he most likely will actually send some knights out, potentially go for some raids. There is a nice just middle spot that he can run right through and get on top of the economy of 1Kasva, but 1Kasva does have a lot of these outposts built in his base just for his villagers to jump inside really quick. 3rd sacred site now being secured for Puppy. This is what will start the countdown timer for it's a win condition here in the game. And now we finally see that outpost that was denying the boar be denied. So Puppy will be able to send 8 more villagers back onto this boar and get that faster food gathering. And I wouldn't even be too surprised if he decided to do the same with that west side boar, but we do not see that yet. We do see a keep drop here, and Puppy is going to be able to spot it out with his spearman and can try to react to it, but it looks like it will go up, and there's already a siege workshop being dropped here right next to the keep. What this will allow is just a nice backstop, a trebuchet line that's just going to start lining up right next to the keep and just being huge. And this is where we talked about raid attempting to come in, but the outposts were there being ready, and those are great against horse archers and actually do damage. If those were knights, they wouldn't take much damage, and you probably wouldn't see many fall down, but horse archers you will. And there we go. Keep has come up. The siege workshop now has finished, and what will 1Kasva start to queue up? You can see he's got the resources available, but you don't see anything queued up yet. A ton of his gold just went somewhere. Let's see what he's got in queue over there on 1Kasva's side. Crossbow stirrups is what he chose, whereas Puppy actually is already proactively getting a trebuchet. So he's going to be the one to start having that siege that's going to be start putting pressure down. Bottom sacred or east sacred site is now finally being denied. We do see a wall was attempting to go up on 1Kasva's side, but it is denied from the horse archers. And they are there to deny the sacred site denial because Puppy wants this countdown to continue to tick down, and he is going to start pressuring this forward keep that 1Kasva made and the little proxy base that 1Kasva has started to make. And actually, you see a second siege workshop now dropping for 1Kasva. And the trebuchet comes out for Puppypaw. It's going to start damaging the keep. And the trebuchet comes out for 1Kasva as well. So it will attempt to take down this little wooden fortress, which will go down much, much, much faster than a tankier keep will. 5k damage compared to 2k. But there's the keep from Puppypaw right on top of the sacred site. He said, you can go ahead and take the outpost. That was just a distraction. Heal up your keep. I don't care about that. Also, you can see a little shift click bug. 1Kasva didn't actually start building this barracks or siege workshop. Now he does. But he said, like I said, this is just a distraction. The long game, the long con was this keep that he was planning on building the whole time. He's got another trebuchet, so he is going to start burning down the keep of 1Kasva faster. Not really. 1Kasva's got a second trebuchet and a third already in queue. So does Puppy, though. And when are we going to start seeing Springwolds? Because that is when... Oh, second town center is what 1Kasva decides to focus with his trebuchets, not the keep. He said if that town center goes down, that's what's going to start giving me an economy bonus over time. But they're already at the point where they're not too far away from that max kind of economy that they want to get at. Usually you see, 110, 120, 125. Kind of all depends on to each his own. But now double trebuchet, triple trebuchet, and We are seeing greased axles come out for Puppypaw's side, and we have not seen any Springles out yet, but we should see those shortly coming out from either side. Probably want to get some counter units, and there we go. Kasva's ahead of the game here, grabbing Springles, got a huge mass of archers and crossbows, got those artillery upgrades. So really big there, and Puppy decides to take a fight here, decide to try to kill some Vills, and I don't know why he decided to do this. Oh, his Abby's going down. He needs to deny these the Trebs from killing the Abby. This is a ton of his gold generation. And there we go, Abby of the Trinity goes down. Oh, the keep doesn't give him vision? The keep does not give him enough vision. Oh, wow. And like I said, Springles came out on one side, but not the other. I thought there were 3 trebuchets. One must have gotten sniped out by the Springle, and it's going up, killing the next one. But Puppy's massive army was able to take down the mass on the other side, it looks like, and now he is on top of Kasva's trebuchets now. A Mangonel came out. Don't know if that was a misclick or on purpose. Right now, he really needs to focus on taking down this keep. He's killing up the villagers that are attempting to heal up with his horse archers. 1 Springle, 1 trebuchet left alive. But what is the cost? At what cost? Puppy's whole army has been desecrated. We now see him trying to go for a forward keep himself. He needs his own vision, but now we see the Springles now are moving up, and he has crossbows trying to take it down, and they're attacking his next trebuchets. He cannot let this trebuchet go down, and it goes down! Oh no! Devastating. That's going to allow this keep to stay up even longer. And so Kasva's in a great position for himself. He's denying a ton of the gold for Puppy. We just saw the thing that everyone hates to be in. No one wants to be in the situation where they see insufficient wood. That's exactly what Puppy's villagers are going through here, trying to repair the Abbey. And now, Trebuchet going right back on top, and he not only was able to kill the Abbey, but he was able to kill the monastery as well. So all 4 of that relic advantage has now disappeared due to that forward keep and forward siege positioning that Kasva was able to get, and Puppy invested more in his military and didn't have that siege mass to counteract the other side. Kasva was more proactive, got his Springles out first, and he is doing a great job here, and it doesn't look like Puppy is going to be able to heal up this Abbey and reclaim those relics here anytime soon. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Kasva try to continue to move up this line, continue to put more damage on the base, and utilize his military advantage. We do finally now see Springle trades coming out from Puppy, but there's still going to be 3 trebuchet masses on the side of Kasva. We see a late keep trying to come up from Puppy, but if Kasva spots this out, he can just start damaging a ton of these villagers, and it immediately gets denied. Oh my gosh, trebuchets hit the keep as it's being built. One of the things, it takes extra damage as it's being built, and it just immediately gets denied here from Puppy. So Puppy is in an awful positioning here. Kasva's just continuing to move up, and Puppy's units he has no military mass at this point at all. 16 units, they're all right here centralized, and we see right here on the side of Kasva, he has, 16 units here as well, but more flowing in, and these are Arbaletier. He's got trebuchets down as well, and the big thing is he has denied the relic gold from Puppy. It's 103 villagers versus 103 from Kasva. So Kasva's actually traded a little bit through this. He's lost a lot himself as well. So it's an even villager count number. So will Puppy be able to hold? Will Puppy be able to come back from losing his relics? Kasva's moving up with outposts. He's denying that other keep that we mentioned Puppy was making earlier on. Puppy takes a good trade, is able to grab a Springle, but wasn't able to deny the tower. 1 was able to finish it on up. Ooh, just kind of back and forth trades here. Was able to snag a Springle trade there from either side. And this keep is constantly being healed from Puppy. A lot of his villagers here, 13 vills non-stop, healing up this keep, trying to use his wood on it to keep this thing alive. Springle's now moving up, seeing if they can get a little snipe of the of a trebuchet, get a snipe of a Springle, something of the sort, but haven't been able to do so. And Kasva decided to move up his trebuchets, which actually allowed Puppy to heal up a ton of this keep and snipe out a couple of the units. And actually was able to get that outpost down himself. So now those Springles are going to have a tougher time. We did hear one of the relics get picked up. A monastery got finished up. And so Puppy is reclaiming his relics. He wants his relics back. And he is going to get them before Kasva was able to send anything. I thought Kasva was going to snag a monk to come over and steal these. And again, Puppy now has Springles on his side. He has the vision, and so now he's starting to take these good siege trades, being the aggressor here. Knights coming in, getting on top of the trebuchets. Springles doing the back and forth game again. And what will we see coming out of either side? No Springles, no trebuchets able to be taken down yet on either side. Again, like I said, just a back and forth game. And actually, we see the Mangonel immediately get denied. And Kasva came over here on the left side, had a couple Springles come in that Puppy didn't see, and they were able to take a little bit of a good Springle trade. And now we see Arbaletiers moving forward, trying to get on top of the villagers that are healing up the keep. We keep on hearing that relic sound. It is because Puppy now has secured more of the relics, bringing them back in. But is it going to be enough? Is it too late? Will Puppy be able to hold here? Another good Springle trade here from Puppy. If he continues getting good Springle trades and can get a Springled mass, then that's really what will give him the siege advantage. Is able to just keep alive longer and longer, and it actually has been focusing out on the Arbaletier mass from Kasva. And what is Kasva deciding to do here? He is massing a ton of villagers moving forward. Is he going to drop a keep himself? No, they're mass healing the trebuchet. 34 vills seems like a little bit of overkill, but he is keeping this keep alive as long as he can. And there it goes. Keep goes down. Kasva was immediately ready to fill it up with his own keep. He's been healing these other Springles on top of it. And that's what... If Puppy, again, is able to start denying the Springle mass, that is going to be the key. But now there's villagers forward for Kasva. Kasva's healing up his Springles, and he does get that forward keep up. So it's going to be another foothold forward that's just going to allow Kasva to step up a little bit closer, move that line in the sand even more forward, and now it's going to allow him to get on top of some of the production buildings coming out from 1Puppypaw. 137 total population for Puppy, and it is 137 for Kasva. This has just been a dead even game, even though Puppy is just taking all this damage. He has not blinked in a sight. So even though the Vill count is even, the Sacred Site, even though Kasva has this advantage, has never actually been able to go over and deny the Sacred Site. Puppy has a nice outpost wooden fortress that has a Springled emplacement there that whole time. And this is what I was worried about. Now is when the production buildings of Puppy start to get taken down. And this is where it gets to be a big worry. Kasva floating a little bit of wood resources, but that's good for him now because once he gets the gold, he will be able to create more siege because wood is siege. And uh-oh! Springle trade! Bad for Puppy! So, we see these Springles are moving up now for Kasva, and he's able to take down another, but this one was a trade, and actually, double trade again. And Puppy takes down... Oh, one more shot? Nope. It does look like Puppy has 2 Springles now compared to Kasva's 1. The Kasva's big oversight, he lost so many of those Arbaletier in the keep fire that was raining down upon him when he was trying to take it down. And so what cost did that end up costing him? Because now he has to remass the Arbaletiers, and it's delaying him much, much longer. It has allowed Puppy to remass, and look at the army that 1Puppypaw has. If he is able to take down some of the siege, he now has 4 Springles, and this is what we wanted to see. 5 Springles. 5 Springles out. He's going to be able to move up, kill the Springles on the other side, and kill the siege. And it looks like he has a huge, huge, huge army mass, and now we see he is 10 population ahead of Kasva. And so through all the pressure that Puppy has been taking, he has not blinked. He has been moving forward, and this has just been an unbelievable back and forth game. Puppy has been holding. Now he has his own trebuchets out. he is going to start pressuring the keep here that Kasva had just placed, the outposts here, and he is drawing his own line in the sand and says, hey, now you have to come take down my trebuchets. I don't care that you're on my production. I have so much behind this. Dropping a backstop of a keep for some safety as well. Kasva does have enough for another keep. He's moving up with his Springles, and they are doing some Springle trading, but Puppy has the Springle mass if he is able to micro them better. We see the back and forth, and all of Kasva's Springles go down. Puppy still has Springles, still has 2 Springles, you see, and now he has 4 trebuchets. So he has the trebuchet mass, he has the Springle mass, and there's only 28 Arbaletiers, whereas there's 40 archers on the other side, which are the good unit against Arbaletiers. They trade more efficiently into those. Kasva now looks like he is saving up the resources to go to Imperial, but this is what has allowed Puppy to get his own build, and he is now breaking out of the chokehold that has been put on top of him. It looks like Puppy with this next round of trebuchet should be able to take down this keep. Another Springle coming out, but now all the Springles that come out for Kasva, Puppy has such siege superiority that now all the Springles that are coming out should be immediately denied. Kasva needs to fall back. He needs to keep backing away now and let his Imperial Age hit, let those technologies research up. But this is where the Royal Institute now is giving him no benefit, whereas the Guild Hall would allow him to gain a lot more resources over time. The longer this game goes, the more advantage it goes into Puppy's favor, and now we see Puppy just breaking through, deciding to jump on top with that huge mass that we talked about, taking down the next keep as well, and this is where a ton of the production is for Kasva. So Kasva's now in a dire situation. Puppy heard the Imperial finish, and that's when he knew he could move forward. He could go ahead and deny a ton of this army with his keep, and look at what he has done. He has taken down both keeps now. He has 4 trebuchets, and he has 7 Springles, and now Puppy should be able to save up his resources behind it and be able to castle up himself with the 4 relics in the bank as well. Kasva now deciding to counter pressure here because he thinks that Puppy overstepped a little bit with that push, but Puppy has so many Springles raining down. He has swapped a Horseman now, which is the good switch to go into those archers and allow his Arbaletier to fire down upon all the other units. But now we see those Horsemen have cleared up, and Puppy is now allowing his Springles. They are not the old Springles that used to be the, the old Springles of the days where they used to just wipe a ton of infantry, but they still do some decent base damage, not a ton. And there we go, we see the other Springles going down. Kasva did go for the... Where's the landmark? I didn't even see Kasva's landmark. Oh, Kasva did not go H4. I guess he canceled the landmark. Oh, he canceled the landmark, saw Puppy's push, and then decided to go all into the Horseman when he saw what Puppy was about to be able to do. So Kasva reacted well to that, and now has counteracted that. And Puppy now, you see both of them are floating a ton of gold, but Puppy has a ton of siege superiority. He just needs to clear out these Arbaletier. But these are 38 Arbaletier now, and that's so much damage that are going to be raining down. They're actually now, like, there are no good units to counter them. They have the extra armor upgrade, and archers do trade favorably into them, but they don't trade great if you don't have a mass. Luckily, Puppy has this keep to fall back to. That's exactly what he is doing, but this is allowing Kasva to remass up. He's massing Horsemen, massing Arbaletier, and that is going to be the better counter army. And now we're going to see Spears and Archers out for the other side, and Puppy just needs to make sure that he has more... Puppy just needs to make sure that he has more siege and can defend his production without this army jumping on top. Final Sacred Site now being denied from Kasva. Good job by him there. We do see forward outposts, forward walls trying to come down from Kasva. forward keeps. He's trying to cut the map in half, and Puppy is now struggling as far as wood goes. He has chopped through, and that is where Puppy has not. He doesn't have any wood to chop through on the map. He is chopping through the hidden forest on his side because that's the only thing he can do. And now 1Kasva is pressing on to the left side. Puppy is max pop though. He has completely maxed out his population. He can go ahead and try to go up to the next age if he starts banking his resources, because there's nothing else to invest in other than what he has queued up here already. We got some mangonels. This is what Puppy was forced on to do because he saw that huge Arbaletier mass. The mangonels is the only thing that would trade decently against that. And now, again, 1Kasva is just on top of the base of Puppy, and Puppy is just trying not to bat an eye, staying calm, cool, and collected. He thinks he can hold this. He's at max pop, except now he is being housed. Each of these houses that are going down is delaying his production, and those horsemen just run right on top of his economy. His spears got wiped, and now the siege are getting wiped now by all the horsemen. That sprinkled mass that we talked about being such a big benefit for Puppy is now starting to thin out with the mass horsemen that came in. It was a number that was up to 6 or 7 before, and now it's down to 3. Trebuchets now have been thinned out on either side as well. 1Kasva still has his 3 main 3, and Puppy now is finally building houses behind this, hoping that he can not be pop capped anymore. Springald's moving up though with those greased axles, and they're going to be able to put some damage down, it looks like, onto those trebuchets. I don't think 1Kasva has the greased axles. It looks like those trebuchets are moving at a snail's pace, but Puppy does not chase it down. Thought he was going to be able to do so. It looked like his Springalds were moving quite a bit faster. But there we go. He's close to max pop. He does go ahead and switch into a huge farming eco behind this. And he puts down the high armory. So through all this pressure, he's been able to outmass. He's been able to put down. And 1Kasva is aging up as well. What is 1Kasva aging up with? Most likely the Royal Palace, whatever it's called, to get the better siege. You get Royal Culverins and whatnot out. And there, oh, it is the Red Palace actually denying the east side of the map. He just said, I know that I'm going to be able to full deny the east side of the map. He's been trying to deny Puppy off of wood, and Puppy is very much in a wood struggle. That's why we don't see any more siege really coming out for Puppy, is because there is no more wood on the map other than these hidden forests that he has been chopping through. There's still a little bit more left for him to do, so still not as much left on the map. So all of this siege right here is precious to him, and 1Kasva is chasing down the siege with his horsemen, getting on top, wiped a mangonel, and it looks like he will be able to get another Springled as well. And he has been able to keep these 3 trebuchets for so long. College of Artillery is his name, but he went up with the Red Palace instead. Crazy game here from Puppy, just a huge back and forth. He's now swapped it. His full farming eco is fully set up behind this, and 1Kasva's is as well. Puppy immediately getting banded arms for his Springalds to get that extra Springled range. That's when they are basically going to be able to shoot those trebuchets from the same range. The problem is now is Puppy doesn't look like he has a ton of Springalds massed up, because he doesn't have a ton of wood to be able to spare on that. We do see now, though, are the devastating Streltsy coming out, which just are able to wipe everything in their path if he is able to get a big mass of them. He is up to 22 now, would like to continue to see more, and the key is they need to stand still while they're firing, and they get their static deployment bonus. So with the longer that they stay still, now that they're staying still over here, they're going to start being able to wipe through the crossbow mass on the other side. And this is when 1Kasva is going to be in a dire situation. His big crossbow mass is now starting to thin out, and Puppy is now keeping his Streltsy alive. He's got his siege upgrades coming through. These trebuchets still have been raining down as well, and Puppy is slowly attempting to break out and get more wood on the map here with the old wood line that he had a little bit of time ago. And here we go. Is he finally going to be able to get on top of these trebuchets and wipe them out? Oh my god, look at that base damage there from Streltsy. Just so much damage. They're able to wipe Siege, they're able to wipe anything, and that's why this unit is so strong. He just completely wiped every single trebuchet on the other side. Now he's just going to fall back, remass up. He now also has 3 Springles. And this is when there is now no siege really on the side of Kasva. So Spears and Streltsy, here we come for Puppypaw with Springles and Siege behind it. Just allow that Streltsy to have that static deployment, and just look at how much damage they're doing. You see it goes up from that +7 as they continue to stand still. You'll see it continue to rise up, +11, and that is where it ends up continuing to increase over time and do so much damage. This is absolutely massive. Puppy has been able to hold this. It looks like he is finally breaking out. He's no longer having to chop through the hidden forest if he so chooses, because he can break out and go to these original wood lines that if he so chooses. He can also recap the sacred site on the west side if he wants to. And now we see a keep coming down in front of his main town center to protect himself here. 2 of his main... Have all his main landmarks gone down? Yeah. But look at this. Now Puppy is on top of the production, and what is next after this production? We're going to see economy next, and this is where Kasva is now in a dire situation that he doesn't want to be in. He was putting so much pressure on top of Puppy. There was a time where it looked like Kasva had full control of the game, had killed the Abbey of the Trinity, had killed the monastery behind it. There were no relics in anything generating. The 4 relics were all on the ground for Puppy, and Kasva had to keep it on top of his base, essentially. Puppy was able to break out, get the siege bonus, and then do a ton of damage now. We see Kasva's at 175 pop. We see Puppy is at a clean 200. Now he is getting all of these upgrades coming in. Boiling oil, taking down these production. And now this game, Puppy has in control. He is easily able to push up and push through now. And there is not much that Kasva can make to wipe 30 Streltsy. It feels like a Nomad Mega Random game with how late this game has gone and how many resources have been used on this fight. But now with that Streltsy mass, I've seen this before. There is nothing you can do to get on top of that. The only thing that Kasva would be able to do is fight around that, get to other points in Puppy's economy and try to deny that and slowly force Puppy to lose in that sense. But now you can see that there is no way that Kasva's going to be able to do that. He's struggling himself now, chopping at the hidden forest himself, worried to push up to some of these other tree lines because he has chopped through all himself. And we see a trade route set up for Kasva. How much are these traders going to be returning? Just recently set this up. He knew that there was no more gold on the map other than that on Puppy's side, which is an unbelievable long-term solution. And that's why those relics are so important. Could never switch to the Knights because he had no gold, and that's where we see now each of these traders is returning 140 gold a pop. It's just going to take a long time for them to end up getting there and paying off. But Puppy still, he has the gold on the map. He doesn't have to swap into the trading yet, and if he is able to keep pushing in, here, keep taking control, this is where even if the trade route Kasva was able to get gold, it won't be able to do anything against the late game army of the Rus. More siege workshops going down. Puppy's able to reclaim more of the wood line, and another wall going down to protect this backside. And look at what Puppy decides to do. He knows that the gold on the map is about to run out for him. He is setting up a trade route as well. Only 3 markets rather than the commitment of, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from Kasva. But those traders now are going to start pouring in the gold for Kasva. You can see his resources have been dwindling, but each of these traders bringing back that 130, 127 gold around there, and so it's going to be a balance between there. But look at the massive army that has just now gone down for Kasva. Puppy Paw's Streltsy just completely wiped through the Arbaleteer mass. So many dead bodies on the ground. Absolute decimation for the gold-hatted Arbaleteers. Puppy still has those same 2 trebuchets, slowly been taking down more and more infrastructure, doing more and more damage. Kasva accidentally queued up a trader because that market was control grouped with the rest of his. But now you can see outposts going down for Kasva because he wants to know when Puppy tries to break out of this other side as well. And Puppy's traders are now on their way. Hasn't queued up quite as many because he hasn't resorted to full trade economy yet, but he will get there eventually. Streltsy now, though, coming out. Streltsy Spearman now still the mass, and the Horseman Arbaleteers still the mass from the other side. So the Arbaleteers are obviously the stronger unit for the French, with the ability to have that extra armor that they have, which is a civilization unique upgrade. And the Streltsy obviously do a significant amount of damage over time, have a huge amount of base damage, and then have that static deployment buff as well. Streltsy mass does look like it's starting to get thinned out though, but crossbows are as well, and there are a lot more Streltsy there than crossbows actually, it looked like, and a lot more gold hats on the ground again. I feel like I'm saying it over and over again. Decimation as far as the blue bodies on the ground. Look at how much resources Puppy Paw is now starting to bank up. He's got 6,600 food in the bank. He is going to have the floating res. And now you can see Kasva is down at 47 food in the bank. He is struggling as far as his food goes to keep up with all his production. And that's because those horsemen are very high cost food units. He's still massing same unit comp, same army comp that is just continuing to lose to Puppy Paw. And Puppy Paw utilizing his Streltsy to kill these outposts because he knows he doesn't care. They have so much base damage, they actually do some over time. Puppy Paw's traders are returning 160, so a little bit longer trade route from Puppy Paw compared to Kasva's. Oh, 156. So, oh, those were the front. The front ones are returning 120. The back ones are returning 150, 160. But now, Puppy Paw's on top of the town centers, on top of the housing economy. And this is where now we see Puppy Paw was in this same exact situation that Kasva's in now. Kasva's house. Now Kasva can't continue to produce any more units, and more of these houses that go down, if Kasva doesn't build them, he will continue to be pop capped and not be able to replenish any of these resources, any of the army that continues to come down. We do see now he has built a couple houses, so that pop cap did not last for too long. But Trebuchet moving up, starting to rain down more on top of the economy now. And a ton more gold hats there, 32 gold hats. Who's going to win the battle here? Again and again, who will win? The Streltsy just non-stop firing those guns, static deployment, just able to do so much damage over time. Keep firing down though as well, supporting Kasva, doing some extra damage. Still, decimation of gold hats, and there's still a good amount of Streltsy available. It looks like it's the same thing over and over and over again. Kasva though has set up his trade route, and as you can see, this almost full blue line on the map, this is just a massive amount of traders going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Kasva needs to keep this keep alive, or else this is when his whole entire economy gets broken through and actually decimated. So he knows that if he is able to keep the keep alive, then there will be no, then Puppy Paw will have a much bigger struggle to push through. We see now Kasva has held. The massive Streltsy has not been able to remass, but look at that. Bombard now finally out on the side of Puppy Paw. He said he has had enough. It is time to start destroying everything. And those bombards are just those high damage units to buildings. You just see it two-shotting these houses and just absolutely stomping. Kasva's struggling to keep up the max production, like we mentioned. He's got 172 production, whereas Puppy Paw's 8,000 food in the bank still. So much food, but Kasva is able to take that bomber down quite fast. But look at all that Puppy Paw is reinforcing with. Look at what Puppy Paw has in queue, and look at what Puppy Paw has stored in the bank. This is just an absolute massacre here now that PuppyPaw was able to gain control and regroup and regain the map control. The Roost is one of the best late game civs with the siege superiority that they get from their high armory 4th age landmark. All Puppy needs to do to start taking control is taking down this keep. He's got his bomber moving up, but Kasva does have a couple Springleds there ready, and if Puppy's not paying attention, it will go down because Kasva does have that initial upgrade for range on the Springleds, but not the extra one that Puppy has as far as the banded arms that is the civilization-specific one for the Roost. We do see 2 Bombards now. Puppy has swapped into a Horseman economy as well. The reason being is he knows he didn't have the gold. He didn't have the big trade route that Kasva has set up. And this is actually what is allowing Kasva to get back into this game. Look at how many traders Kasva has on the map. It is an absurd amount of traders. $45 traders now for Kasva compared to 22 for Puppy. So that's where there's going to be a ton more gold flowing out for Puppy, but Kasva doesn't have the food reserve that Puppy has been able to build. So Puppy keeps his foot on the metal. Kasva will continue to struggle, replenishing his army like Puppy has been able to do. But now is when we finally see elite Royal Knights in the mix. It has been so long with the French, you would expect to see, you know, a massive Knights way earlier on and tons of Knights coming out. But absolutely none really until late game here. It is a 50-minute game here at this point in time, and how much longer will it go? You can see the resources in the bank. You can see everything going on. What is going to be the final breakthrough? How long will this game last? Will there be any wood left on the map? And will it become a full trade fest where it is all about utilizing the market? We just saw all of Puppy's siege get taken down by these Springleds on the other side. It looked like some Springled trades, and now he has to move back. Big job by the army of Kasva. Was able to push through. Those gold-hatted Arbaletiers are doing so much damage, and Puppy hasn't been able to remass a ton of the Streltsy that he had before. He does have a small unit of 16, but Kasva's got 26, if not more, Arbaletiers. But look at that! Mangonel's actually doing some damage here, doing some AoE damage. They may not be the best unit. Actually, that one was trash. They may not be the best unit, but they do have their uses at some points. Springled's now coming back up, and this is what PuppyPaw really needs to take advantage with. I don't know why he swapped on the Bombards. I would have liked to see a little bit of a Springleds coming out as well as Bombards, because the Springleds allow Puppy to get that max range that you see Kasva's shooting from. Kasva's just constantly replenishing his Springleds. He doesn't care about the trades. He is fine with it because he knows if he is able to kill out those Bombards, it's a much higher cost unit, and that means his keep is not going to be going down anytime soon either. Puppy now finally looking like he's going to send some horsemen around to raid the economy of French, try to maybe stop some of those trade lines. And this is what I expected to see earlier. He knows the only way Kasva is supporting this right now is through trade, and that's where now Kasva's trying to put keeps on his trade lines to stop this exact thing from Puppy. There's actually keeps all throughout Kasva's base to stop this, and this is where Puppy sees it. He's trying to get on top of the economy. He's trying to do something to stall this out, but this is making Kasva pull his army back. And now if he sees Kasva's full army pulled back here dealing with this small horseman raid, it might allow for Puppy to gain a foothold real quick, push forward, and take down this keep that I was talking about. However, we still see the Springleds staying nice and safe behind. And there we go, Springled's going for the Bombard, but this is what's going to allow Puppy to trade back with the Springleds. There you go, was able to take one down. Oh no! Springleds changed fire, they're not firing at the Springleds! No! Springleds changed fire away from the other Springled. I think Puppy thought he killed them all, and he didn't realize that he left one alive, and that is going to wipe all the siege down on his side. He's moving forward with his Bombard now because he thinks he killed all... Oh, actually, he killed the last Springled now. So great job there. Now he's killed the last Springled, but at what cost? What army is left? He is constantly massing up horsemen in, and now he's pushing up with villagers. It looks like he wants to maybe get a keep drop of his own self, getting a nice forward fallback point for him to do. And look at that, getting on top of the trebuchets that were just sitting there from Kasva, which is a huge resource to take down here now. Kasva's doing everything he can to keep this alive. We see the Springled move up, but at this point in time, Puppy has the Horseman on top of it and is able to get on top of the villagers healing the keep as well. This means the keep should be going down soon, except no! Bombard gets sniped down. Springled comes out of the Siege Workshop right there in range to snipe down the Bombard. Absolutely crazy. And yes, there was another reverse raid on the top side that we didn't miss with all the fighting action there. So some of the traders went down. Didn't look like too many though. And Puppy has not been able to go through himself, and he actually overchops here on this wood line. Luckily enough, he has two of the major wood lines to fall back to, and Kasva does not. And that is going to be the game decider. Kasva is going to run out of all the wood on the map, not be able to do anything, and Puppy has an infinite amount of wood left. Not really, but an absolutely two huge massive forests that he can chop through now that he can fall back to, even though he's still forcing on this forward one, because he's make sure he chops as much of the wood on the map to take away from Kasva. Horsemen do get through to the trade line now, so we will see some more traders go down. And again, this is where on the side of Kasva, he's got 52 traders, and on the side of Puppypaw, he's only at 32. So there's going to be a lot more gold generation from Kasva, but Kasva's going to have to be trading a lot of that in for wood, because there is no wood on the side of his map anymore. You can see he's chopping all through these hidden forests over here. Front fights are still going on. That Kasva was able to redraw his line in the sand, and he has a huge Springled mass, and he has been able to deny a ton of the traders here and do a ton of the damage. We see actually keep does not go up, and this is because elite Royal Knights are so much harder, do so much more damage than horsemen do. And elite arbaletiers as well are just shredding this. Look at how many dead bodies there are from these arbaletiers. This is going to be the huge difference. We saw Puppy was up at 200 pop for so long, and now Kasva set up that trading economy faster, set up a bigger trading economy, and that was the big difference there. More horseman raids now from Puppy. Puppy just continues to send horsemen. Each of these horsemen that get through can end up slowly damaging these traders and killing them. Puppy does finally clear up the raid on his side. And I wouldn't be too surprised to actually see full walls come down, considering you know, that's the big oversight. But again, the big worry on the map right now is going to be the wood. The wood is the big concern. The further Kasva, you can see just a second ago he was just back here. He is going to be chopping through this hidden forest wood line, and once that is gone, there is going to be nothing left for him to do. Puppy took a good fight there. We see 3 or 4 Springled explosions there on the ground, and there we go. A cannon finally coming out from Kasva. More horsemen still able to get through, but again, slowly but surely, and now Puppy decides to start taking this front wood line. Again, the forward wood line, because he knows he has the all the way back one to fall back to. Good resource management here from Puppy. This is absolutely a huge back and forth game where there's been multiple times where we thought it was over for Kasva, we thought it was over for Puppy, and it is just absolutely been a gridlock. But it is going to be, it's going to get to the point where there's no resources left on the map at all. Puppy actually has enough stone left in this mine for another keep, and he's only got 200 left in this one. You can see there's actually some deer on the map. Not that that really matters. There's a boar left still that Puppy could grab for some free gold, 75 gold at this point. That's like half a trader trip. And Streltsy here able to spot out the horsemen there before they're able to get through for a raid. And now these wooden fortresses are getting more upgrades to try to pick off more and more of these horsemen as they get through. Also, keep did go down, so again, more and more damage is just going to thin out any horseman raids that go through. We saw, you know, when Puppy's horsemen were trying to get through this, they were getting fired down upon, and now Kasva has multiple keeps to protect himself. So any raids that come through for Puppy are really going to have to be knights. The one horseman here is getting denied by a nice old spearman. And now look at this. Forward keep, because like I said, Kasva needs wood. He needs this wood line massively. And if Puppy is able to look at this little I think my chat just disconnected again. Don't know if anyone was saying anything. Looks like it just re-welcomed me to chat again. So what's up, everybody? Absolutely wild game of back and forth, though. This has been a huge game, and the wood lines were what I was mentioning was going to be the big thing. Keep goes up on the wood line, and this is where now both of them are fighting over, trying to chop through. And is Kasva just chopping through the wood line straight up? He has just so many villagers on this. There's 17 villagers. He's going to eat through this wood line so fast. And Puppy, luckily, still has an additional one to fall back on. But this is what I mentioned. They both need to be making siege. And a lot of these units, like Spearmen, cost like 20 wood, which actually ends up being a huge amount when you don't have any wood at all. Good job by Puppy, able to keep that trebuchet alive, trading out, killing some of the knights, and we see Rebuildaquins over on the side of Kasva. He doesn't know what to do at this point in time. It has been such a huge back and forth. He has just decided to say, hey, maybe Rebuildaquins are the answer to Streltsy, because right now he has been throwing unit after unit after unit into the Streltsy. We see 950 killed and 877 lost, so he actually has a better kill death. But as far as unit mass, it just does not feel like that. Puppy now, look at this. One of the rare sights you don't see much. It is a Spearman raid. Spearman raid on top of the economy. Huge, huge game, and this is so shocking to see. Puppy actually is not really seeming to utilize Bruce's bonus, which is, you know, all of that advantage as far as those siege bonuses go. But Spearman Raid coming down, was able to get on some of these forward farms, was able to get on some of the wood line, and if he is able to deny this wood line, that is going to be the big problem. Don't see a, oh, we see the chop through now. And this is when the wooden fortress now is going to be firing down upon all of these villagers chopping through. So, yep, we see immediate double upgrade coming out from Puppy as well. Kasva is forced to gather this wood because there's no other wood. And, oh, look at that. See more and more lumber camps in the hidden forest. There's not much hidden forest left here on the map now. And Puppy is, wooden fortresses are just going to fire down on all of these vills, force Kasva off of this. And this is where the villager count doesn't really matter at this point in time, but Kasva's at 157 economy. Holy crap. He has 71 traders and 86 villagers. He doesn't even have enough room on the map to have military. At this point in time, Puppy can just walk through because 40 military is not enough to do anything. Absolutely crazy to think about that there's that much economic investment here on the map. I mean, 157 economy. He must have, I mean, the resources are starting to generate. You see 6,000 food, 6,000 gold. So Kasva is able to non-stop produce as many knights as he wants. But is that going to be enough to hold the force that Puppy has built up? He has mass spears, he has mass Streltsy, and that could wipe right through it. Is Puppy just deciding to play a stall-out game? Are we going to see a wonder victory? I don't really know at this point in time. This has been such a back-and-forth game. I keep saying that these hidden forests are going to be chopped through, which a ton of it is. You can see all the just emptiness on the map from both sides even. You know, all this top side used to be hidden forest as well, and it has been chopped through, but luckily, Puppy does have that fallback point. And actually, Kasva breaks through the top side. We weren't noticing. Kasva's able to break through the top side and places a keep down, and if these villagers can get a keep onto the trade post, it is game over. However, we see there's already a wooden fortress and a keep there ready, and there's no way that the villagers are going to get through. There's only 4 vills alive now at this point, and they are all low health, and where they would want to drop it, they might actually be able to. But does Puppy see it? He is sending some Streltsy back. He has to deny this, because if these towers go up and start denying his trade posts, then that will fully deplete him of everything on the map. I don't know if he sees. Oh, yeah, he does. Okay, 14 Streltsy still in the way. Yeah, he does see them building the tower on the map. And what is he doing as far as his front line goes? He is still raiding in. He's gotten on top of the wood economy. And at this point in time, this actually might be a benefit for Kasva because he has invested so much into his economy. But like I said, the economy that he's invested in seems to be more traders than wood, and that is going to be the bad part. Streltsy here are going to be able to wipe up these villagers now. And yeah, Puppy's got 19,000 resources, more 20,000 resources in the bank. It has been a huge back and forth. Kasva has, and keep in mind, Puppy has that many resources ahead, with Kasva having 130 economy. And just a second ago before that, it wasn't 130, it was up at like 150, 160 economy. But Puppy's raids now have fully denied Kasva from wood. Kasva won't be able to build any siege anymore in the game, and he is fully forced onto all of a wood and gold, or I mean food and gold economy, which is just going to be knights and crossbows or hand cannoneers, which was what we've seen him on. He has broken through this top side, so he's going to try to force himself up through that way and cut off Puppy's trade routes. But yes, at this point in time, neither Kasva nor PuppyPaw know the economic situation of the other side. They don't know how many resources are floating. They don't know how much military is on the other side. Just a second ago, like we said, we saw Kasva at 160 economic units and only 40 military. That's enough to where Puppy could have been able to just walk on top of his base and do whatever he wants. We do see some Streltsy coming out on the other side, trying to battle out these hand cannoneers, but getting support from the tower as well will be an easy kind of back and forth. And Puppy is just sitting with his army in the middle. He's building more and more archery ranges now. I think at this point in time, he just says, hey, I'm just going to build everything possible. I'm just going to start mass spamming trash units into your base, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. He has bombards. He's starting to take down the economy, and Kasva is no longer able to make a ton of siege. We do see there's a lot built up. He's got 4 Rebuildaquins and 4 Springalds himself, but the Springalds over on the side of PuppyPaw are better, and PuppyPaw has some bombards. A great massive army coming from PuppyPaw, and I wouldn't be too surprised just as you see, he's up at 120 military. He has so many floating resources that the more military he makes, just the easier this will be for him, and all of these trays and all of these fights will go over much more significantly on his side. Kasva trying to break through the west side walls, but I don't think he realizes that there's triple walls. But there was a chop through, if he remembers. I don't know if he does. Was a chop through of that wooden forest. And now he sees what Puppy is trying to do. He's coming into the economy of 23 knights. And he is going to be able to run through those towers because these aren't horsemen, these are knights. They take a lot more, they're able to tank up a lot more shots from those, from all of those wooden fortresses with Springald emplacements. But now, Puppy is able to move forward a little bit. This is where you're going to see armies in a lot of different places. There's going to be a ton of different things going on. But the big thing is Puppy needs to keep his traders alive for as long as he possibly can, even though I guess it doesn't matter a ton because he has so many resources. Honestly, would love to see Puppy just dive in onto the economy of Kasva, take some good trades. Did they just run right through? Oh, they run right around. Luckily, these keeps, there are some Streltsy back and there are some keeps, but now Puppy is moving forward with his siege mass. It is the siege on siege battle like we expected, but Puppy pulled a ton of his spears back, and that's when Cass was using this to do to push up with his knights, and the knights are just wiping down all the Springalds on the other side. Just a crazy back and forth. But now these trebuchets are going to have some range. They should start firing down on this keep. And this was the keep I was talking about, what was it, 30 minutes before this, that said, hey, this keep is the big one in question. If this goes down, that will allow Puppy to get on top of the whole entire economy. Castle was able to hold earlier, but now Puppy is back on top of it, sieging it down yet again. And what was the resource we talked about being the struggle resource for Kasva? Wood. Well, what's it take to rebuild a keep? Wood. This is going to be a big struggle for Kasva to continue to heal this up non-stop. And that is when this is when Kasva's really going to start to struggle. Streltsy just doing their typical back and forth, and now the spears are moving back forward, and ooh! 5 cannons coming up on the side of Kasva, moving forward, and they took down a ton of the siege, and actually another trebuchet goes down, but the Streltsy just do so much damage that they're able to one-shot the siege units from the other side. Rebuild-A-Quins are in the back, and no one expects mass Rebuild-A-Quin. Is this the new meta? Will we see something special from Kasva where mass Rebuild-A-Quins take it down and give him the victory? You can't forget each of these outposts that goes down is actually significant, because if it denies vision from Puppy, Puppy has to move up with his force and lose a lot of this army. And there we go. Rebuild-A-Quins are moving forward. Are we going to see the final fight here in just a moment? Will it be a big one? This has been such a back and forth. It has been such a huge game back and forth now. Will it finally finish with this? Will it be a mass Rebuild-A-Quin, or will they even never get to move up into the field of battle to shoot and see the light of day? Here we go! Oh, whoa! Look at that! Holy crap! Oh my god! He found the counter! They just need to stay alive, and they don't. So, they did trade out for quite a bit of Streltsy, but then they got sniped down back by the Springolds because their range is quite short. They did their job, though, thinned out a ton of the Streltsy. We see only 16 Streltsy on the other side, but Puppypaw wins that fight yet again. He's down at 150 population, but he will be able to replenish his much, much, much faster than Kasva's. We see Kasva's at 150, but we see the resources in the bank are close to nothing. He does have about 50 units in queue, but Puppy has the same amount of units in queue and also has 8,000 food and 9,000 gold. So just an absolute massive economic advantage here for Puppypaw. Puppypaw still has a lot of his siege, and we actually didn't even notice there's other trebuchets here on the east side raining down on the other keeps. If these keeps go down, this is where Puppy was trying to get those horseman raids through onto the trade routes, and so it will just allow more holes inside that Puppy can poke through to get on top of the economy. Like I said earlier, though, the trade route from Kasva and the mass farms will just allow him infinite food and gold, and that will be Arbaletiers and Knights, which is a good, strong unit balance for French. But is it good enough to outmatch Spears and Streltsy with mass siege? Because Puppy is able to continue to chop wood. He actually still has a full wood line that he hasn't even touched. He's just chilling, chopping at this one, and actually, yeah, that's about it. Just chilling, moving forward, and he has fully denied Kasva from, it looks like from all the wood on the map. I guess there's other hidden forests. But another Night Raid attempting to go through. Stall out again and again. I'm sure, yeah, it's hard to know what each of them have in the bank at this point. You know, they both probably think that they have so many res banked up. They probably think the other person has, you know, 10,000 of every single resources. They might be expecting a wonder drop from the other person at either point in time. But look at those. This is the advantage of the Roost Springald. This could be the big difference here. We see all 7 of these Springolds now are on top in range of the cannons, and the cannons are not going to have time to move out. All the cannons go down, and now a Springald trade for Kasva, but now Kasva's going to have all of his Springolds go down as well. Oh, needs one more shot. Oh, and Puppy actually allows one to live. The gracious Puppy. He's also probably focusing here, multitasking, a ton on his base. Had to pull back for another Night Raid. Again, I don't understand why we don't see full wall ins from Puppy. It would at least delay, like we see these triple walls. If he was just able to do this, he has so much time. He would be able to deny all these Night Raids and be able to have his full military force pushing forward and focusing in. We do see one of the keeps finally going down and another one getting built, which is actually a crazy thing because 800 stone at this point in the game is a huge investment that Kasva had to trade for. Puppy, I'm not sure if he realizes, has an extra 1,000 stone at the back as well. Just Springald trade after Springald trade. It'd be shocking to see how many Springolds have gone down. And before the Rebuild-A-Quin can fire, the Roost Streltsy fire it all down, and now we see 4 Bombards, and we don't see as many Springalds here on the side of Kasva. Only 2 Springalds out, and those Bombards are going to be able to fire down quite fast and be able to be super tanky. And there are 2 Springalds as well on the side of Puppy. So is this finally the moment that Puppy is going to be able to break through and say, hey, this game is mine. Thanks for your hour and 15 minutes of wasting my time. You should have forfeited earlier because I'm the better player. We're now up to 56 Streltsy. He just said, screw it, I'm attacking your keep with my Streltsy. They do have a good amount of base damage, so they are actually one of the units that are able to do damage to buildings. And now, more and more production buildings going down. We can see how many keeps Kasva invested in trying to keep his trade route alive. But this doesn't matter if you're not able to push into Puppy's base and you're not able to do anything. Puppy is just non-stop pushing up with Streltsy. Kasva's trying to mass up enough units to do some damage there, but he doesn't know what to do. Spears bracing Knights already. Bombards are going to be able to just continue to move up, continue to damage more and more of these buildings. We do see Royal Cannons. They might be able to pick 1 or 2 of the Bombards before Puppy pays attention. There we go. Or maybe all of them. We never know. No. Yeah. Big trade there, and actually, they turned back. Oh, and Puppy was able to get his Streltsy over on top of him. Only lost 2 or 3 of the Bombards. And now, just like I said, moving more closer and closer now on top of the economy. We see traders going down now. And this was the whole economy of Kasva is traders and farmers. Because they're not even needed to be called villagers anymore, because all of his villagers are on farms and they are farmers. But as we'll see here, Puppy's up at 170, Kasva's down at 125. We see 77 traders, 44 farmers, and he only has 1 hand cannoneer out. He's got 9 elite royal knights in queue and 6 hand cannoneers in queue, whereas Puppy has bombards, Puppy has everything. This is finally the time where Puppy is breaking through the map. He is on top of the economy, and now this is where Kasva is not going to be able to replenish his army. I thought this was just going to be a shorter game. You know, the typical Rus-French matchup. One of them, you know, they go heavy into feudal fights into each other, and one ends up having the bigger, you know, archer knight spear mass than the other. But no, this is an hour and 15-minute game, and it is still going on. But Puppy is finally seeming to break through. Trader after trader going down, and this is where all the gold that Kasva had was coming from. Bombards now moving up, going to take down more and more keeps. Kasva's going to be struggling now to gather the resources, replenish army. As we saw a second ago, there wasn't too much in queue for Kasva. Puppy's resources now have finally started to dwindle down to the 3,000 mark. He was up at the 9 and 10,000 for so long, but look at how many Streltsy he has. There is nothing that Kasva's going to be able to do at this point in time. This was the position that Puppypaw felt that Puppypaw had himself in at the 25-minute mark or so. I don't even remember anymore. But there were trebuchets, there was siege in front of his base, there was keeps in front of his base. All of his relics were on the ground. He had no gold generation from the relics, which was one of his major advantages. The sacred sites got decapped. But now, Puppy has been able to retake the sacred sites, retake the relics, retake map control, and now he is putting his pedal to the metal, and he is not letting up the gas. He wants to kill Kasva and not let him have another moment to breathe here. We see Springalds coming back out. Let's see the military difference now. 1,383 units. This has just been an absolute massacre on both sides here, and it is just continuing to happen. Look at this little Mangonel. He's scared of the fight. He's like, hey, I'm trying to hide in between the walls of this broken keep. Hopefully no one will find me. But we do see a good amount of Springalds still here on the side of Puppy. But it looks like Kasva now has pushed back the mass of Puppy, and Puppy is starting to struggle as well as far as his food economy goes. He has now finally decided to start chopping the other wood line, but let's see what Kasva is down to. He is down to 98 economy still, which is still a significant number. 45 traders, 54 villagers, whereas PuppyPaw is 65 villagers, 44 traders. So he definitely was down at like that 70 or 80 number when he was floating a ton of res earlier. He was up at that 120 military mark. He's now decided to flip the switch again because he doesn't have enough economy to fully replenish his army. But at this point in time, neither does Kasva, and I don't think either player knows. It's like they're waiting again. They want to get to max pop again before they take the next fight. But who does that benefit? Who really knows? At this point, more Streltsy coming in though. Would like to still see more spears coming into the mix. I don't see a ton of spears. It's just all Streltsy. The spears do kind of have that nice brace for horsemen and knights and do some extra damage there. And they are a much cheaper trash unit that might not deplete your resources quite as fast. We now see the horseman mass moving up, and it is jumping on to Puppy Streltsy at the perfect timing, and they're actually able to get on top of the siege as well. Siege is getting jumped on top of as well, and this is why I said you needed spears. Spears can just stand right on top of the Streltsy and allow the Streltsy to have that static deployment and non-stop fire. But Puppy finds himself actually in a scary situation here. Did he overcommit? Is Kasva going to be able to replenish his trade route because he has so many markets here that he can replenish it faster? Puppy stayed on 3 markets the whole game over here, and so he has not been able to buff up his trading economy quite as fast. Kasva is retaking the foothold on the map, but at this point in time, like I said, this is all about what the market rates are. Selling 100 food gets you 74 gold, selling 100 wood gets you 70 gold, selling stone. So now you're buying, he's buying wood, you know, significant numbers here at this point. We actually don't see any siege coming out on the side of Kasva now, it looks like. Kasva has switched all into a horseman hand cannoneer economy with some knights most likely in the mix, but he might not even need the knights because those Streltsy do some damage to those knights. And now we see a horseman raid on top of the economy of Puppy, and this is what I was worried about. He never remade walls, he never walled up, and there are so many. This is probably why his food economy was struggling too. Oh, appreciate it, Ascalon. Holy shit, this game is long. Holy hell, thank you for the sub. Unbelievable match, back and forth here. Puppy has to pull his army back. He has had the relics here this whole time. Alright, able to clear up the horseman raid there. Oh wow, ton of population capacity reached there. Kasva there, max pop. Now we see resources back down, dwindling for most people. So this is back when we think now is when something will start to break open, is when these resources start to dwindle, start to get below that 3,600 mark. You know, once they get to those hundreds, in the hundreds you see on golden wood for Kasva, in the hundreds on wood and almost food now for PuppyPaw. PuppyPaw overcommitting to Bombards, but the Bombards are such a high resource unit. If he's not able to defend them, these horsemen are just taking great trades. Bombards getting stuck now. Puppy forced just to turn them and try to shoot down anything they can. He is still able to keep 3 of the Bombards alive, and so those are going to be the big units that are able to kill out the buildings. So that is the key right now, is Kasva has been forced on all to horsemen slash knights and these hand cannoneers. Well, if Puppy is able to continue to get these wooden fortresses down, they're not able to be killed easily by the unit mass that Kasva has. There we go. We do see one trebuchet. He is continuing to chop up all of these hidden forests, and actually there is a back hidden forest he can still chop up on. So not quite all of the forest left on the map. It is not quite a dry, barren desert yet, but we are getting closer and closer to that point here. It is crazy to think that neither person has been able to break through on this hour and 25-minute game here. 100, basically an even balance as far as economy and military goes for Puppy, and Kasva is still on the bigger economy side right now. He just has more invested into his economy, but at that point in time, it makes perfect sense, and it's fine for him because he's able to replenish a lot of his units faster on, and doesn't matter because the units, if there aren't, you know, a lot of these units, even though Puppy has more than Kasva does, a lot of these units aren't doing anything if they're just sitting here static and not you know, making moves, not putting pressure down, not killing buildings, not hitting economy. But now it looks like Puppy has finally cleared up that keep that was on his side of the map. Most likely we'll see that wall be rebuilt and him actually start to push out on this east side as well. There we go, wall immediately gets rebuilt. He'll probably take down the next outpost, and there we go, double walls as well, and he still hasn't walled up the middle though, and this is what I'm shocked about. Delete this lumber camp and just slide it right in through the middle here and connect it to that other wall. There's just enough room there to do so, and it would just be a nice safe wall. Again, these aren't knights this time, and so these are not going to find as much luck as the raid of 10 knights did. They're running into multiple keep fires here, and those will get taken down really quick. So wasted units there, and this is where, again, here's the big hand cannoneer army in the line, and it is starting to get picked off little by little there without taking the fight. Kasva wants to fight under this red keep, or wants to push forward before these walls get up, and look at that. Double walls do end up going down. This is going to allow so much protection here from Puppypaw now. He does need to fully connect it, and then that will have his whole base walled up, and that, I think, has been the big hindrance. Any of these raids, any of these horseman raids on the trade route, onto the economy, just continues to delay this game further and further. Look at how many wooden fortress Puppy is just moving up with wooden fortresses, and this is what I was mentioning. The siege is going to be the big struggle for Kasva, and that's where Puppy is going to be able to take advantage. But now look at this again. We see floating res in the bank on both sides. Both sides are up at max population again, and we are back to that unit composition again, where we're saying, hey, let's go ahead and just wait for that next big fight, next big battle, and that'll deplete all the resources again, and then remass to 20 or to 200. Kasva forced to run away on this one. He decided that that battle was a little too much for his own liking, and he is now starting to fall back, and this mass from Puppypaw is starting to just tear down the mass of hand cannoneers from Kasva. Will it finally be the time now that it's going to be game over? There was just a moment before when Puppy was fully in his base and Kasva was at 1 military. Kasva's down to 25 military. It's all right here in front of us that we see. And Puppy again is on top of the farms, on top of the trade route. And now he finally has bombards raining down on landmarks. If he gets this monastery, this is going to be some huge gold generation. First, he's got to get this bombard outpost, though, before it kills his bombard himself. Streltsy just killing anything and everything that get close to him. We do see now that there are 4 royal cannons on the side of Kasva, so he does have some siege that he's able to push up with. Puppy might pull the number, pull back and do that. Hey, I'm just going to remass again. Get back up to 200. Let's go back. Pause the game. Let's both get back to 200 before we can fight again. Cass was actually at 173, Puppy's at 150, but 25 Streltsy in the queue, and those will just be pouring out forward. Wouldn't even hate to see a couple more archery ranges to see this going in even faster. I believe he's got 15 archery ranges, so yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to see a couple more, just because it seems every single one of these fights has been the max population fight. They each have about 50 military die, and then they remass. Well, if he can remass twice as fast, he can take the next fight even faster. I would have never imagined this game being an hour and a half. I was planning on watching the Grizzlies game at 9 o'clock, so this is delaying my my Grizzlies watching time. But it is okay. This has been a wild back and forth. There's times where we thought Puppy couldn't do anything, and there was no way he was going to be able to come back from this. Then there was times that we thought Kasva had no way he could come back. And then both people have had their clear advantages, their clear, foot on the gas moment where it felt like there was nothing that their opponent could do. And again, it's just been a huge back and forth. Horsemen coming in, clearing up siege, remassing. It's all about that huge back and forth. Sometimes we see horsemen, sometimes we see knights, sometimes we see Puppy on a lot of siege, sometimes we see Puppy with no siege. And now we see the Royal Cannons just did work on all of those forward outposts that Puppy had built. Puppy is not able to remass his army here yet, and this is where I would like to see more barracks and more archery ranges. This is what I was talking about. He needs to be able to remass these armies quicker. The more units that can be coming in here faster is the more units he can keep alive and not have his Springles and not have his siege get dove upon by the horsemen that are out here. Little back and forth game here that Puppy's doing, trying to snipe down these royal cannons. Or just cannons. And now Puppy is finally deciding to go back onto spears again, like I mentioned. And I would love to see more production buildings coming down. Each of these production buildings that goes down, if they don't get replaced, actually adds up over time by a significant margin. Spears coming out now. They're going to be able to soak up some of that hand cannoneer damage and be a front line there for the Streltsy. Trebuchets raining down on top of units, and the three cannons here are just doing work, clearing up all of this other forward production that came out of Puppy. Unbelievable job here from Kasva. He's got a hand cannoneer mass that has been struggling Puppy has been struggling to snipe down himself. But there we go. We finally see him snipe down through the horseman mass. His Streltsy have started to mass back up. He's got spears back up, and it looks like Puppy is retaking that. He does need to stop these cannons that are firing down on the production and the other Streltsy coming back in. But there you go. Kasva was able to remass his army quite quick. And Puppy is still, it seems like, struggling to mass up. We see he is going to be house popped, and Kasva is now at 200 population, and Kasva's the one who he's depleting his resources, but that's because he has all of these production buildings are non-stop producing, and they produce for cheaper when they're next to keeps. So Kasva has that advantage going for him, and Puppy is not able to mass back up. He needs more production behind this. I don't know if he's done it. We're trying to kind of keep in the fight here. But holy crap, both Kasva still up at 200 pop, still got cannons and things in queue. He has Puppy has 61 Streltsy in the queue. This is what I'm talking about. If you only have 16 archer rangers, so he has built a few, but 61 Streltsy in the queue, he needs double the amount of archer rangers, and that will come out much faster and actually make this an even fight. Puppy has been up resources a ton of this game. He is starting to dwindle as far as the food count goes, but he still has a good mass. He's been able to remass. He is now back up to that 200 population, and as we mentioned, those are Streltsy, and he still has a ton in queue. So not only does he have resources there, he has resources in queue that are, he has Streltsy in queue that will be able to replenish as well. Springald's coming up, killing the cannons finally. Good pick there. I mean, is this just like Streltsy versus Hand Cannoneers? I did not know what I was signing up for when I'm casting this game. Holy crap. Trying to get on top of the Springles, but isn't going to be able to do so. Maybe one Springle goes down. Yeah, only one Springle goes down there. Now Puppy is able to retake his footing here. It looks like but we see Puppy now is at low food. He is maxed out on all his food, but he has 67 Streltsy in production, whereas Kasva only has 6. So a lot of the resources in the bank, Puppy has already pre-spent his resources, whereas Kasva is spending them as they come in, and is just kind of being more efficient with it. But Puppy doesn't care because he just knows that he needs to just constantly be replenishing his units here. He's got the Trebuchet mass. He's got the Siege mass. He has the advantage here. I think the big problem is he keeps on trying to wait and mass up for that 200 pop and not put the pressure on Kasva when Kasva's lower. We finally see a Elite Knight swap come out of Puppy. Might try to get some raids in with that, but we're not really sure there. But let's see. Would like to see Puppy start to move forward here. If not, drop a freaking wonder at this point in the game. Oh my gosh, are we seeing walls across the map? We finally see the wall across the whole map. We expected to see this earlier. He's also recapping the sacred sites. More gold generation coming in that he so desperately needs. Also, the big thing is now this will stop any annoying horseman raids. He's already got this side double walled as well. Well, other than the little gap there. But now we see stone walls coming out from Kasva. And will Puppypaw allow these stone walls to go up is the big question. He sees the foundation though. I think Puppy is going to start moving up here now. We see Great Wall trying to come down from Kasva, and this is a lot that he had to spend as far as gold that he traded for, because he had to buy a lot of this stone with his gold, and that is a ton of stone that he just spent as far as resources go. And we see Kasva again is down at nothing. Puppy has 72 Streltsy in the queue, and he is wiping down this army. Now this army looks like, I've said it like 18 times this game, it looks like he's finally breaking through. Is he finally breaking through? He only still has 16 ranges. Would like to see more ranges come out from Puppy. 84 Streltsy would be able to get remass up a lot quicker. You would see this number just continually stay at 200 rather than dwindling down lower during these big fights. But again, Puppy is just able to mass this up, and now is when Kasva does not have as much in queue. You can see he only has 7 units in queue, and Puppy has 77. Puppy is finally breaking through, moving forward. Everything coming out from Kasva is immediately getting wiped down by the Streltsy from Puppypaw. And Puppypaw has Trebuchets now raining down that he's going to be able to move up with here in just a few as well. He has the Springle Mass as well, so the only way that Kasva can get on top of this is if he continues doing that Horseman Surprise. But at this point in time, what does he have? He does not have too much in queue. He's only got, 20 units in queue here. He is down at no resources here left in the bank, and we say no resources when they're in the hundreds, and that is because Puppypaw has been in the thousands, and he has 78 Streltsy in queue, which I don't know, quick math, 78 Streltsy times 180 resources is a shit ton. Would love to see Puppy take down this monastery. That's a little bit more gold generation that would be denied. And he is deciding to move back with his siege. And I guess he is playing the long game and wants to just move up slowly. Spearman denying some of these villagers building the stone wall. But that initial stone wall has gotten built, and he's actually sending more to finish it up. Puppy now, again, on top of the economy here of Kasva. Castle's at 177. He's only got 7 hand cannoneers in queue. If Puppy is able to start taking down these keeps, that will allow his Streltsy not to be thinned out and not get shot down so quick. And that's why I was so surprised when he decided to pull those trebuchets back. These trebuchets need to be moving forward, need to get on top of these keeps and on top of these landmarks. And now we finally see it about to hit the university. Oh, no we don't. They move up for the keep. It is time. A keep going down. He says the Streltsy can deal with the university themselves. They do enough base damage. They're doing slowly but surely, and Puppy is moving up. Now what he's doing is he's doing the wall move up with the trebuchet line. Is going to just continually move up with trebuchets, continually move up with walls. I am not Dr. Dorrington. And now we do see Keep most likely will go down here in just a few. The Springlets are firing down on the villagers that are healing it up. And now the Streltsy have moved on to the next target, which is the monastery with the relic on it. And just non-stop production here from Puppypaw. Whereas Kasva, you see again, he only has 10 units in queue. Puppypaw has over 60 in queue. And he is now, finally seems like he's breaking through. Next big step is getting on top of some of the next big production buildings or farms as well. We see Kasva's trying to mass up his units here behind, but that is nothing in comparison to the unit mass that Puppy has been able to do. He needs to snipe down more of these villagers healing this keep, and it will cause them... Oh, there we go. We see the insufficient wood. Insufficient wood from Kasva. There is no wood left on the map, really, for Kasva to utilize to heal these keeps. So he has to trade in gold for that. And we see the resources now are just totally dwindling for Kasva. We see this is his final stand. He knows if he doesn't wipe Puppy's army here, that it is game over. He needs to deny this forward keep, which he does. Was able to take it down with the cannons quite quickly. But this is where the Streltsy are just doing work with their static deployment. We see plus 18 now on the damage. The longer they stay, the longer they stay static, the faster this stacks up. That's why you don't want to be kiting around with them. If you're able to keep them still, they do way more damage. So these long extended fights are going to go significantly to the way of Puppypaw when they're not moving. We do see the keep finally go down. That was the keep I had said 18 times is going to be the final breakthrough. This is what's going to allow Puppy to get on top of the economy and get on top of the landmarks and actually get his foot forward. There is nothing that is going to be able to do. Cannon's being healed up there. But Streltsy just continuing to be mass up. 34 Streltsy still in queue. Where's Kasva at? He's at 165 pop, and he only has 7 units in queue. It's just, right as these traders trade in their resources, he's just immediately spending them. Also, that relic did end up going down, so now that is 100 less gold per minute that Kasva is not able to get, which you might not think that's much, but in an hour and 40-minute game, that is absolutely massive. Kasva did buy a bunch of new stone. He's trying to get more keeps down, but at this point in time, this is what I'm worried about. He was able to break through that initial foothold. He can kill production buildings. He can get on these other farms, and now he's actually on the main town center. The landmarks is what the big one is going to be. The Red Palace is going to be the hard one to take down. But once these initial kind of middle keeps go down, this is what's going to allow Puppy to cut off the trade route. And the trade route, as you see when these traders go down, is less traders coming in means less knights coming out, less horsemen coming out, and that is just where Kasva's already struggling to replenish his army. We see he's down to 165 pop. Puppy's been at 200, and he is staying at 200 for quite a while. He is moving back up for another keep here. Same exact positioning that he wants. He has finally built more archery rangers. He's up to 24 now, so those Streltsy are able to replenish quite a bit quicker. Only 10 more in queue now, as you see, because of these cannons and keeps are raining down on them. But at this point in time, Puppy doesn't care about the trades he's taking because he has finally been wiping traders and economy. Finally, he has the trebuchets attacking again. There's the initial landmark. We finally see a landmark go down on the side of Kasva. We saw the early Abbey of the Trinity fall from Puppy. Actually, we see the Golden Gate, and the Abbey never even got rebuilt. So honestly, if I were Kasva early in the game, I would have tried, instead of cutting off Puppy's trade route. If you notice, Puppy didn't have any keeps near his main buildings. He had one keep near his town center. Kasva could have gotten a back door with all of the horsemen that he built and done one of those missed the back door and won the game. Does he have time for it? Is that what he is going to do? Or is he just going to try to hold? I think at this point in time, it's an all or nothing, and you have to go for that. But now Puppy finally has the walls on the map to not allow that from the side of Kasva. So this is really where, and the 5th relic gets snagged from Puppy. He said, you may be down, and I'm just gonna continue to kick you while you're down. I'm taking your relic is mine. Now I have all the relics. I'm on your landmarks. Soon he's going to be attacking the Royal Institute, and look at how many units here are on top of Puppy Streltsy, where Puppy Streltsy are just sitting here firing with that static deployment. It's 10% extra attack speed, 3 extra damage, stacking up to 3 times each every 5 seconds. So after 15 seconds, they get their max stacks, and that is when they just wipe everything in their path. Springles have finally been able to move up. He finally doesn't have, Springles getting dove on by horsemen, is able to get a forward keep, and this is now when Puppy seems to be breaking through. It is game over! It is finally game over. Kasva calls the game. An hour and 40-something minutes in. It is game. Let's check the timeline here. Just staying at 200 pop. Look at these 200 population fights going down to under 140. Just remassing up. And this is where I was talking about, where Kasva wasn't able to remass up as fast, and so if Puppy was going to be able to do some damage, it would have been there. And then Kasva actually had that same exact positioning, but then Puppy was able to hold. Villager count obviously doesn't matter later at the game. They ended up swapping over to towers. Military count, graph doesn't show much just because it was such a back and forth. The cool thing here is going to be the statistics. Who cares about score? Military. 2,122 units killed, 2,178 units killed. So there were over 4,300 units killed in this game. Absolutely freaking wild. We see Kasva outgathered as far as food goes, 184,000 food. Puppy outgathered wood by just a bit, 4,000. Kasva outgathered stone by like triple, and Puppy outgathered gold by also only 10k. So Kasva actually, when you look at the resource graph, Kasva actually had quite a bit of a lead, it seemed like, and that was where a lot of times we saw the economy. Kasva would have, 126 economy compared to Puppy's 100 or 80, or even, at one point it was 160 for Kasva, and that is because Puppy had the relics in the base. Absolutely wild game. 117 research count on the side of Puppy, 90 research on the side of Kasva. I didn't even know that there's that many researches in the game. The relic is bugged once you have stuff go down and you repick them back up once your monastery gets killed. So the 8 relics is not actually a true standing. But absolutely wild game. Thanks everyone for sticking out through that. A lot of times I was losing my breath. I didn't know I was going to be able to stick out through that. So I appreciate everyone. If you hung out on Twitch, thanks for hanging out. Ask a lot, shout out to you for the sub during that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, throw the subscribe, thumbs up, comment on it, because this was quite the freaking wild game. Huge back and forth game there, and was a really fun one to see.